Brian.
How you doing, Sarah?
Good. It's good to be back together.
Yes, it is.
So, guys, we are going to be doing something a little bit different starting from now for our Sunday encouragements while we're apart. And we're going to focus a little bit on the Christmas season and the characters in the Christmas story. We're going to play some games. We're going to hang out and just talk about the importance of this season. So, we're going to start with a game today. It's called Find Me, Christmas Edition. So the rules are going to be a little bit different since we're not actually together. Instead of going to a corner to select your answer, you're just going to choose your answer, A, B, C, or D. You don't have to get up and walk anywhere, so it's a little bit easier. But basically, you'll see a video, and then you're going to have to pay attention to the characters that you see and figure out who fits the question they ask you about. So here we go. All right. So, Find Me Christmas Edition. Analyze the scene for 15 seconds. Look at the question. You're not going to go to the corner with the correct answer, just pick it in your mind. So, they're going to give you an example here for you to practice on. All right, here we go. Make sure you look at all the little details, guys. Who was wearing the pink shoes?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Yeah, so this is a good example. You'll have to pay attention to all the little things in the scenes.
That's not my strong suit.
No, mine either.
Whoa.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I did not notice that at all. All right, so here's the first real example. Level 1. That means it should be easier, right? I actually think I have this one.
I'm glad this isn't testing school. I'd be flunking right now.
We'll see if I'm right. Put my answer on D.
Whoa,
I
you're
know,
good.
I got that one
You're
right.
good.
It's just one of the few things
I
I
had
happen
no
to
clue.
notice. All right, here's the next one. Level 2. I have no idea on this one.
B or D?
Okay, that's a fair guess.
I'll go
yeah.
with B. I don't know. I have no clue.
All right, I'll go with D then.
All right. 50-50.
Yep.
All
Oh,
right.
you got it. Nice
Yeah.
job. It
I'm a
wasn't
good
Santa,
guesser at least.
That was fair, yeah. All right, level 3. I think there's 5 levels.
Ah.
Oh boy.
You can go with D.
Yeah, I think so. Because he was pulling that Christmas tree. Right? Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, hey, we're getting better at this
Hey.
with each level, right?
Yeah.
All right, level 4, here it comes. Ugh, there's just more going on in every one. Who had the fewest gifts showing? Oh boy. Do balloons count as gifts?
I don't know.
I think I'm gonna say C.
Yeah, I wasn't even looking at the gifts.
I wasn't either. Oh. Well, got that one wrong.
Ah, Santa, you're a Scrooge. Didn't have very many gifts.
Right? But we can't see all the rest of them in that bag.
That's true. It's
All right.
magical.
Yeah. Here, level 5. I like the Santa with a selfie stick. Who had the red belt? I'm gonna go with C.
I'll go with B. Why
I
not?
have no idea. Oh, you got it again. Nice
Hey.
job. Pro at guessing.
Yeah, total guess.
All right. Well, see, that was something a little fun, you guys. So each week on Sundays, we'll probably start with a little game. For now, they'll probably be Christmas themed, and Brian and I will give it our best shot, and you guys can play along. But today, what I wanted to talk about a little bit is Mary.
Ah,
So if you guys don't know, for our Advent series this year, Pastor Trinity is going to be talking about the theme of unexpected, right? So a lot of things about Christmas were expected, but a lot of the ways that it happened were very unexpected. And so I think that talking about Mary kind of fits right in with that.
awesome.
So on a side note, before we jump into talking about Mary, if you haven't already, we have text devotions that are going out to the church family during the Advent season. Pastor Dave Mergens wrote them, and you can sign up for those by texting the word unexpected to 77222. So,
And they're
if you
great
haven't done that
devotionals.
yet.
They don't take a long time. They're a great way to start your morning.
Yeah, and they'll text you the link, and so you basically can just click on it and read it for the day, and you're good to go. But
Yeah.
it's nice, it's right there, and it's easy. So join the church family in doing that.
Yep.
Yeah. But so as far as Mary goes, one of the things that I think is so interesting about Mary is that since I work with middle schoolers, thinking about the fact that that's probably about how old Mary was
Wow, yeah.
when she got the news that she was going to be pregnant with Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about her response this morning. Like, this angel shows up, right? Just, first of all, I mean, that in itself is enough of a shock, right? And of course, it says she's disturbed, she's scared. The angel says, "Do not be afraid." And she's probably like,
And how am I not supposed to be afraid?
right, yeah. And so, but her response is just so amazing to me, because the angel basically tells her, like, "Hey, I know you're not married and all these things, but you are going to be pregnant, and the baby is going to be the Messiah." And after the initial shock wears off, Mary's response is, "I'm the Lord's servant. Let everything that you have said happen."
Well, I think of, if I was Mary, how am I supposed to tell my mom and dad that I'm pregnant?
Yeah. I mean, especially in that culture, you guys. I mean, it was a completely different world, right? So, nowadays, are you going to, like, be given a little bit of a hard time? You're going to face some hardship? Yeah, absolutely. But back then, I mean, that was a culture of shame and honor, and so to be pregnant out of wedlock, that was a huge deal. And so for Mary to say, "Let it be as you have said," I mean, she wasn't just facing the physical hardships of a pregnancy, she was also facing possibly being stoned. I mean, Joseph could have chosen to have her stoned, rejection from her family, rejection from her friends and her community. I mean, it was a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I think of Joseph even just coming in saying, "Well, come on, Mary, what do you mean you're pregnant? Who was the guy?" And she's saying, "God." And how do you, I mean, that's just unheard of. How would you even believe somebody that would say that?
Right, and same thing for her parents, right? I mean,
Yeah.
your daughter comes to you. I don't know about you guys, but, like, if I went to my mom at that age and I was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant, but I'm still a virgin," like, it was God.
Yeah.
They would have been like,
Yeah.
Yep, okay. And so to have to feel like initially she was going through this by herself had to be so overwhelming. I mean, you're amazed and you know it's a miracle, and you saw the angel, so you know that it's true. But that doesn't mean that anyone you're going to tell is going to believe that what you're saying is true.
But as a young girl, to know, because you've experienced it, that God came to you, this angel came to you, in giving this message from God that you are going to be the mother of the Messiah, that's got to be overwhelming too. Just understanding that that's not even knowing all the different things about it, but being chosen for that.
Right.
Wow.
Well, and I think it was interesting too, the way the angel kind of convinced her, like, no, this is for real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, your cousin Elizabeth, she's pregnant, and no one thought that she'd be able to get pregnant because she's old and she's been barren her whole life. And so it was just kind of like offering proof, like, no, miracles do happen, and God can do what he says he's going to do. And to Mary, that would have been proof in a way that what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
And after she found this all out, she actually went to visit Elizabeth. And I think that that part of the story, to me, I can't imagine what Mary felt like after, you know, telling her parents and telling whoever, and maybe them not believing her or having hard reactions. She walks up to Elizabeth's door, and Elizabeth immediately greets her, saying that the baby in her womb leapt for joy. And, like, she doesn't even have to tell Elizabeth, I'm pregnant, and it's God, and it's a miracle. And Elizabeth just knows immediately. And she believes that it's a miracle because she's experiencing her own miracle.
Yeah.
And
They had a connection. They had a connection because they both were chosen by God to carry this baby in different ways, but there was this deep, deep connection there.
Yeah, and I just think of how amazing that must have felt to Mary after, you know, probably having to tell people who maybe didn't believe her.
Yeah, I think at times when there's been things that I've said to somebody and they didn't believe me, but I found a friend that believed what I said, and there's just that, somebody believes me.
Right. And actually, Mary's reaction to Elizabeth's greeting was writing this song of praise, right? Just praising God for what he was doing and all that he had done. And so I just think that that's a really cool point in the Christmas story that doesn't always get focused on.
Yeah, we think of, you know, even as Mary went on those next 9 months, as she got bigger and bigger, and Joseph, you know, they said we're going to be married and all those kinds of things, but still that idea that she carried in her heart, she knew this was from God because of what the angel told her. She knew that this was special. She had given her life to be used by God however he wanted to use it, and this was how he chose to use it. That's incredible.
Yeah, and how important it would have been for her to keep that sense of that, because I can't imagine, you know, back in the day walking through the marketplace, you're getting bigger and bigger and people are talking, and it certainly helped that Joseph had a dream too and decided to stay with her. But I think the other thing that maybe you guys don't know is that in that culture, an engagement, so when we say that they were betrothed, it was just as legally binding as a marriage. And so if they would have broken that off, it would have required a legal divorce. But thankfully, Joseph was also given a vision and chose to stay with her, so that at least she didn't have to go through that alone. But
Yeah, he was honoring God, honoring his wife, Mary, who he's betrothed to at the time, but he's honoring her as a woman, but honoring God also in taking on that hardship, because people were looking at him kind of strange. How would she going to still marry this woman that you weren't the father of her baby, and all those questions that came. So they had to have a strong faith that God was going to carry them through and do what he promised he would do in honoring them.
yeah. And so as you're going through the Christmas season, hopefully you sign up for those Advent devotionals, and you can kind of join us just in thinking about this idea of the really amazing way that God chose to send his son to earth in ways that nobody would have expected. This
is a special time that, you know, a lot of times we get excited about Christmas because of presents and all the other things that we do and family, and that's all fun. And I enjoy that too. But to be reminded of these kinds of things that happen that sometimes we don't think about very deeply or feel, but people that went through this because God chose them and to bring his Savior, his Son, to the earth for us.
Yeah. And so I just want to challenge you guys this season to remember that the characters you're hearing about in the Christmas story were real people with real emotions and real families and and just they had to go through all of these things. And I think that sometimes, especially growing up in the church, when you've heard the story so many times, it just becomes a little commonplace and you forget to think about all that they really went through and experienced, and it really brings the Christmas story to life. So,
And I think the challenge also for all of us is that when God puts on our heart something that he's asking us to do, it might be talking to a friend about Jesus, it might be helping somebody with a project, whatever it is, that even that when it sounds crazy, if we really believe that God has spoken to us on that thing, to go ahead and do it, because God honors that. God honors the faithfulness of Mary and of Joseph in bringing his son to the earth. And just think of all those different things that sometimes we shy away from because what would my friends think, what would my family think? But God, I know this is from you. Go for it.
yeah, absolutely. So we will see you guys again next Sunday for another game and another Christmas focus. We just want you guys to know that we miss you and we love you, and we can't wait till we can be back together again.
That's right. See ya on Wednesday for another Wednesday encouragement, and next Sunday back here for Sunday encouragement.
Yes.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.